Johnny Gosch disappeared in 1982 while on his early morning paper run. He was 12 years old at the time, which would make him about 52 today at the time of this recording in 2022. Now, this is a very famous case. He was one of the first children to be featured on a milk carton, and it has received widespread national attention over the years. In 1997, his mother, Noreen Gosch, said she was visited by a man who claimed to be her son and who she believed to be her son. He said that he had been kidnapped by a group of people who were passing him around for reasons that a group of men would pass a young boy around, which I won't spell out because we're on YouTube, but you all know what I'm getting at. Now, Noreen said this man, he only stayed for a couple of hours, told her his story, and then said that he had to leave because I think people were looking for him and he just didn't feel safe staying at home. Now, people are split on whether this visit actually occurred, and assuming that it did, whether the man was actually Johnny Gosch. One more thing, when I was looking this case up, I saw his disappearance may be linked to another 13-year-old boy who disappeared, also from Des Moines, Iowa, and also while delivering newspapers. This happened in 1984, so that's 2 years after Johnny went missing, and that boy's name was Eugene Martin. So I'm also going to ask about his case and about whether the two cases are linked. So I am going to start with Johnny's disappearance, and we will see where that takes us, and we'll go from there. And please remember, folks, these readings, they are alleged, and they are for entertainment purposes only. And without further ado, let's get started. So first off, this is a very active reading. Like, even before I got started, when I was just setting my equipment up, I was already getting quite a bit of information, so it's a bit overwhelming. I'm going to try to keep this as concise as possible and to explain things as best I can. So before I jump into the cards and before I forget, I think there is more than one person involved. I'm seeing at least two men. I'm seeing somebody in the driver's seat and somebody in the passenger seat. The person in the passenger seat is the one I'm seeing the best. He looks to be maybe 40s or 50s. He's starting to go bald, and he's wearing a fedora or something similar. He's got on a light blue jacket, dark slacks, brown shoes. I know there was a car, and I believe a suspicious-looking man that a neighbor saw that was just, this person didn't quite feel right to him, and I think the car was seen speeding off about the time that Johnny was grabbed. What I'm seeing, it looks like a dark blue car. Dark blue or black, I can't really tell. So I don't know if that matches the description of the vehicle, because Chariot in Reverse, when that card came out, I got a couple of things, but one of them I got was that the car is wrong. So like the description of the car is maybe wrong, or something about the car as it was described to police is inaccurate. But I don't know what that is. I keep getting pointed towards the door, so I don't know if this person described some particular feature that has to do with the door, if there was a decal, bumper sticker, license plate. Not sure. I just keep getting pointed towards the door, so maybe there was a decal or something on it, or this person thought they saw something on it, but I keep hearing something about the car isn't right. I'm also getting that I don't think this was planned, in the sense that I don't think they were specifically looking for Johnny Gosch. And if I remember correctly, his dad typically accompanied him on his paper route. He had just decided to go out on his own this morning. I can't remember exactly why. So I don't think it was planned. I don't think they knew that he would be alone. But I do think it was planned in the sense that this man, the man in the passenger seat especially, he's the one that's coming through the strongest for me. I think he wanted to find a young boy to kidnap. I think they were out driving around on the prowl, and it's like, if the opportunity presents itself, we're going to take it. I think we're getting the Star in reverse and the High Priestess in reverse next. I think they pretended to be lost as a way to get Johnny to come closer, like, hey, we're lost, we need directions, can you tell us where such and such is? So I think that's how they got him to drop his guard initially. The guy in the passenger seat, I think he has a dark mustache. It's a pretty thick mustache. It's coming down over his top lip. And I'm seeing dark black wavy hair. And then what looks like either a black or a brown, dark brown leather jacket. He's trying to give off the vibe of somebody who's Very easygoing, cool, laid back, like buddy-buddy, like wants to be buddy-buddy with the kids. He's the type that would offer kids cigarettes and alcohol. Like, hey, it's cool, you can come over to my house and you can drink here, you can smoke here. You know, you can't do that at your parents' house, but mine is the cool house. Like, this is the party house. He's that kind of a character. That's how he gets boys the age that he likes. That's how he lures them in. The guy in the passenger seat, the older guy, he's more aggressive. He's mean. He's grumpy. He does not have a kind face. I think he tries to, but it's like when he smiles, he gives people the creeps because they can tell it's not genuine, like there's no kindness behind it. There might be another guy here as well. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I'm getting a lot of energy. So I think they stopped. They pretended to be lost. They tried to strike up a conversation. Johnny is starting to get a little weirded out. This high priestess in reverse is about hidden agendas, things being kept secret. And I keep seeing the older man stepping out of the passenger side, like stepping out of the car. And I'm not seeing much else about the kidnapping itself. I think two people must have grabbed him because I can feel him being picked up off his feet, and he's horizontal in the air, and one person has his legs and the other person has his front, and it feels like it happens very fast. It's disorienting, and there's really no opportunity for him to fight back before he's immobilized in the car. These guys, they're quite a bit bigger than Johnny is, and the older guy, he looks kind of slow and lumbering, but when he wants to, he can move really fast. I think he might have been in the army at one point or had some other kind of training, because he feels like he's had some sort of combat training. So my mind goes to army. Could also be something like martial arts. I don't think it's boxing, but some sort of combat fight training. He may have also stabbed somebody at some point. I can't tell if this was in the army or some other time in his life, but I can see and I can feel him stabbing somebody in the stomach. Not a young boy, this would be a grown man, the person that he stabbed. I also think he spends a fair amount of time with like-minded individuals, and by that I mean other men who are interested in young boys. I can see him with a group of men sitting around a campfire, like they're on a camp out, a hunting trip, something. I can see them sitting around a campfire, like trading stories, possibly trading tapes. I keep seeing like cassette tapes. Not videotapes so much, I'm seeing more cassette tapes being passed around. So moving on to what happens after they get Johnny in the car. We're getting the 3 of Wands, the 9 of Swords in reverse, 8 of Swords in reverse, and the Page of Wands. So 3 of Wands, they leave. They get the heck out of there. So moving on to what happens after they get Johnny in the car. So we're getting the 3 of Wands, 9 of Swords in reverse, 8 of Swords in reverse, and the Page of Wands. So they leave, basically, with this 3 of Wands. To me, they go over some border, so I don't know if that's the state border, a county line, something like that. I don't know exactly where Des Moines is in Iowa or how far it is from any of the borders, but to me, he's in the car maybe 3 hours max. I see them traveling north, maybe northwest. It looks like the old highway system to me. I don't even know if the interstate, this is so sad, I don't even know when the interstate was built, but it looks like the old highway. I can just see them going down a road with trees on either side and just passing, you know, green sign after green sign. So I do feel like they traveled a fair distance, and I see the kidnappers feeling calmer, more secure the further that they travel. Some of that initial anxiety, like did anybody see us? Are we going to get caught? That starts to dissipate. I do think that Johnny is restrained. I see him in the back seat. He's got what looks like cord or rope. I keep getting it's the type that you would use on your clothesline, which is weirdly specific, but that's bound around his legs. But then he's got some sort of a wire, like if you took a metal clothes hanger and you wrapped that around a person's chest. He's got wire around his chest and his arms. And where they take him next, it's not the final destination. This Page of Wands, it feels like a stopping off point or someplace where you get ready to travel, to take him somewhere else. So could be like a hotel motel, but it feels more like a house to me. This is like a place where you would go to make preparations to travel somewhere else. And I'm not getting much about that place. I just keep seeing a green suitcase. I do get that some abuse likely happened there. I'm seeing a bed with brown sheets and clothes. I just keep seeing lots of clothing, like piles and piles of laundry. What's with all the laundry references? This is weirdly specific. I wonder if the person who lives here runs or has something to do with like an A laundry service. I don't know. Laundry, it's a weirdly specific reference. And it doesn't feel like a business, like a laundromat. It's giving more residential, so that's why I'm thinking like at-home laundry service of some kind. And I was just seeing if I could find out any more about these two men that took him or about where they took him. So we're getting the Ace of Swords in reverse, Two of Wands in reverse, Knight of Cups in reverse, and the universe or the world. So early on in Johnny's disappearance, I don't know how soon news broke that he was missing or how soon it became a national story. But this Ace of Swords in reverse is chaos, confusion, or some sort of a regret here, and they're playing it safe with these Two of Wands in reverse. So that's making me think media attention, this boy's face, it's very recognizable. We didn't realize this was going to end up being such a big story. We need to be careful. There's also some misguided aggression, so that could point to a lot of things. It's just making me think this person, they're angry at somebody else, so they're going to take their anger out on Johnny. Knight of Cups in reverse, that's some emotional immaturity. That's a younger person. That's either the guy with the dark mustache and the dark wavy hair, or I still can't decide if there's a third person here or not. I am picking up on an older woman, maybe 60s or 70s. I don't know how she's connected to either of these men. I don't know if she knows about the kidnapping or if she's involved or anything like that. I just keep seeing an older woman, like strong, like she's got some heft to her. She's got some muscle. This is somebody who is used to doing hard labor, whether that means this is somebody who is very used to doing physical labor. Very no nonsense, doesn't smile very much. Just a very stern, sturdy, older woman. And then this world card, that suggests travel. Could be around the world or it could just be outside of this general area. But like I said, this was a stopping off point. So I do think they took him somewhere else after this. Next up, I was trying to get more information about this possible human trafficking angle that I keep picking up on. So we're getting the Hermit, the Knight of Pentacles, King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Ten of Cups in reverse. So Hermit and Knight of Pentacles, that's like slow and steady progress in isolation. So something that's taking place behind closed doors, out of the public view. I'm trying to decide if Johnny himself was being trafficked or if it's these tapes that I keep seeing, because I told you I kept seeing cassette tapes. I'm seeing those more than I'm seeing Johnny. Like I'm seeing those being sold, bought, traded. I can see like a lawn haul truck driver listening to these tapes as he's driving down the road. And then King of Pentacles in reverse, that's a sadist. And I don't want to linger on this very long or go into any details. I'll just say that I feel audio recordings were made of what this person was doing to Johnny. And then Ten of Cups in reverse, that's about like a broken family, shattered dreams, not getting our happily ever after. And I keep seeing that green suitcase. I think this person made copies of these cassette tapes, packed them up into this green suitcase, and then traveled around and sold them to people. And I'm not getting a lot more information. We're getting Judgment in reverse, the Sun in reverse, the Two of Wands, and the Fool in reverse. So I do think that he reached an age where he was no longer desirable. This Two of Wands is like out with the old, in with the new. They want somebody younger. All of this happened in secret, and I don't feel like the perpetrators have ever been brought to justice in this case or any other case. I'm also not getting like a huge group of people with this Judgment card in reverse, like not directly involved or having contact with Johnny, which is why I'm leaning towards this human trafficking aspect has more to do with the tapes than with Johnny himself, because I think a lot of it took place in secret and private, and there weren't a lot of people involved with what directly happened to him. And some of that might have to do with him being such a famous face. I see there being a conflict, like does that make him more valuable because he's a celebrity in a sense? Or does that make him a liability because maybe somebody would get the idea to turn him in for the reward money or something? Not sure, but I don't think he was trafficked in the sense of what we would think of as human trafficking. I think it's just these tapes. And I'm having a hard time getting a clear reading on him after a certain point. So he was 13 when he went missing, so even age 14 or 15, his energy feels very fractured to me. It's giving me broken mind, broken body, something like, I don't know if multiple personality disorder would be a good analogy, but something about him is split, is fractured. So I'm having a hard time getting a good read on him because his energy feels like it's in pieces. So I think I'm just going to ask whether the man that came to Noreen Gosch's house was Johnny Gosch or somebody else. Who was this person? What was their intention? I'm going to do that, and then I think I will go to Eugene Martin and see what we can find out about him. I don't think this person was Johnny. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there were two people that showed up at Noreen's house that night. There was somebody claiming to be Johnny, and then I think there was a guy that didn't say much or was just kind of hanging out in the background. So we're getting the Four of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands in reverse. So this Four of Pentacles, this is coming across as the other person who I think was present. That's just his energy. He's somebody who doesn't give a lot away. Very introverted, very guarded, doesn't talk a lot. Also very closed off physically. I can see him being very tense, having his arms crossed. So that's the other person that was present. And then this person is coming up as the person who said they were Johnny, and I'm not sure how these two people go together. I'm getting a whole mix of motivations, like what prompted them to do this. Part of it is being charitable. Like, I think I'm being nice to this woman by telling her that I'm her son, that he's alive. There's this aspect of I'm doing a kindness, but I'm also picking up on some deception, some desire to create conflict with this Page of Wands in reverse. In a sense, I'm saying that I'm being charitable, saying that I came to tell you that I'm all right, but I have a hidden motivation. I want to create some sort of conflict. Let me see if I can get any more on this person pretending to be Johnny. I get with the other guy there is some drug usage and some mental health issues involved. I think this pretender is a source of stability for him, or vice versa, but I don't think this person was Johnny. I keep getting money. So we're getting Two of Coins, Eight of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I think they went to her house pretending to be Johnny, hoping that she would give him a few bucks. Like, even if it was just whatever she had in her purse, or if she would go and take some money out of her savings account, they were looking for money. Like I said, I think there's some drug use involved, some mental health issues. Two of Pentacles, that's an equal, even exchange. Eight of Swords, that's about feeling like a victim of circumstance. Ace of Pentacles in reverse is telling me they didn't get what they wanted. Like, this seemed like a good idea at the outset, and then it didn't go the way that they had envisioned. I feel like one of them knew a lot about this case, probably grew up in the area. I think they had heard stories of people not getting money exactly like this, but scamming people out of money somehow by pretending to be somebody else, or, pretending to sell them something along those lines. They had heard stories from other scam artists. They also knew about the Johnny Gosch case, and all of these stories commingled in this person's brain, and they came up with this idea for a way to get a few extra dollars for some drugs. So yeah, that's basically what that is. So I am going to move on. I think I'll move on to Eugene Martin now. So I was just starting to ask about Eugene's kidnapping, and the first card that flipped out was the Chariot in reverse, which is the same card that we got on the first pull for Johnny Gosch. So right off the bat, it's pointing me to same person or same group of people. I do think the cases are likely connected, but I'm going to keep pulling and see what other information I can get for him, but I would be shocked if they were not connected. So we're getting a lot of the same information said in a slightly different way. So we're getting, like I said, the Chariot in reverse, Four of Swords in reverse, Star in reverse, and then the Five of Swords. So similar to Johnny, I think it was not planned in the sense that they weren't planning on taking Eugene specifically, but I think they were looking for somebody, and if the opportunity arose, they were going to take this person. Another eerie parallel between Eugene's case and Johnny's case is I think Eugene's brother typically went with him to deliver papers, but on this particular day he didn't. I'm not sure why. So he wasn't supposed to be alone, but just like Johnny, he was. Then Four of Swords in reverse. That could be burnout, stress. It's also not taking no for an answer. Star in reverse. It's still giving me like a ruse of some kind, like, hey kid, I'm lost. I'm looking for such and such. Can you help me find this place? With Eugene, it feels a little bit more difficult. Eugene feels a little bit more cautious, standoffish, not as likely to engage in conversation with somebody that he doesn't know, some guy leaning out of his car asking for directions. It just seems like he's not as cooperative or not as open, as friendly. And then the Five of Swords, it can be taken as a combination of everything that I saw before with Johnny about him being held captive, about this sadist, that King of Pentacles in reverse. Five of Swords card, it's sometimes called the Lord of Cruelty. It's ambition, win at all costs. It's also got a sadistic energy to it. You see this picture with this kid who has this butterfly trapped in a jar. It looks like there are possibly not any air holes in this jar for the butterfly to breathe, so it's going to slowly watch it die. It's just, everything about this is giving me it's the same person, same group of people. I'm not getting as much visual imagery, and the car to me looks to be a different color. It looks lighter, like maybe a light brown. And I think the younger guy has ditched his mustache. Ditched the mustache, cut his hair looks shorter. I think it's still the same guy. And the older guy, I'm not seeing him. All I'm seeing is the younger guy, but he still has that same jacket. And he's wearing rolled up jeans. He's giving me a very like 1950s James Dean Rebel Without a Cause. Like he's dressed kind of like that. I'm not getting much else about the actual kidnapping. I'm getting that metal wire again that I was talking about. I said was wrapped around Johnny's chest to restrain him. It feels like this is being wrapped around Eugene's throat, not to choke him, but more like as a method of restraint to keep him from struggling. So yeah, if nothing else, that metal wire especially is pointing it to being the same person or persons that took Johnny. Next, we're getting the Page of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the Fool in reverse, and the King of Swords in reverse. So these people, they definitely have a type. We keep getting this Page of Wands card. That's coming up both to represent the boys, this type that they are attracted to. It's also coming up once again for that like way station. I think this Queen of Swords is that woman that I was talking about earlier, the older woman, 60s or 70s, very sturdy, very stern. I'm not sure why she's coming up. I think that might just be to signify they've gone to the same place. They've gone to this way station. The Queen of Swords is here for some reason, but I'm getting a slightly different energy. What I was feeling before, without getting too graphic, with that King of Pentacles in reverse, was somebody who was very sadistic in the physical sense. This King of Swords in reverse is giving me more mental fuckery, like playing head games with somebody. And the Fool in reverse is somebody who is young, naive. It's giving me toying with somebody, like promising to let this kid go and then being like, oh no, I changed my mind, and then enjoying seeing the expression on their face. Like, when they realize they've been played or that you're not going to keep their promise, there's just, like I said, playing head games, playing mind games. There's more of that kind of torture. This feels like the younger guy to me. Like I said, I'm not really getting a sense of the older guy. The older guy was the King of Pentacles in reverse. This feels more like the guy with the jet black hair. So I don't know what happened to the older guy. If he died, went away, I'm just not seeing him. I don't know why he's gone and this guy seems to have taken the lead, but he's coming through as like the primary aggressor this time. So I'm getting a lot of bizarre images and impressions when I try to ask more about what happened to him. So we're getting the Ace of Cups, Four of Swords in reverse, and the Lovers card. Those go together. And then we are getting Judgment in reverse, and then Five of Wands in reverse, and the Nine of Wands. So with this first set of cards, I'm picking up on somebody who wants Eugene to form a strong emotional bond with them. They want to feel connected. They're not taking no for an answer. I keep seeing them like dressing Eugene up in women's clothing and performing like ceremonies, like a marriage ceremony. Like I want to feel something, I want you to feel something. It's very peculiar. And then Judgment card in reverse, once again, I don't think anybody here has been caught for this or any other crimes. I don't think any of this was done out in public or with a large group of people. And I'm getting like walking on eggshells, trying to avoid a fight, trying to avoid conflict, trying to avoid making this person mad. This is Eugene, trying to keep the peace, trying to not get in trouble for something. It's like walking on eggshells. It's being very careful, very cautious about what you do, what you say. And I don't know if all of this is being done to, like with Johnny, be recorded, be sold to other people. Because this person, they don't feel emotionally invested in Eugene. Like I said, it feels more like they're having fun, that they're toying with him. We're getting some more cards that could point to human trafficking. I'm still not sure, like I said, if it's tapes that are being exchanged or if it's actual people, human trafficking. I can't really tell. What we're getting is the Three of Wands, Ace of Wands in reverse, Eight of Pentacles, and the Devil. So Three of Wands, like I said before, it's expansion, exploration, it's get the heck out of Dodge if you've just kidnapped somebody. So it's pointing to, once again, to movement, to crossing state borders, perhaps. Ace of Wands in reverse, however, is about a lack of passion. It's giving me the opposite of what I would expect in somebody being trafficked for the purposes of sex. And then Eight of Pentacles is about somebody having high standards or overthinking it, overdoing it. And the Devil is about being bound to one's problems, mental health, drug use. It's also, once again, got like a fetish, bondage, sexual aspect to it. So like with Johnny, I'm getting a mixed response in regards to what exactly happened to him. I'm still getting a lot of that King of Swords energy with this Eight of Pentacles. It's giving me somebody who is, like I said, overthinking, overdoing it. This comes up for me a lot for people who make plans but make them way too complicated, but I can't really see anything beyond that. So I'm going to clear these away, and then I will ask if they can be found, if anything can be done to find them, that kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see what comes out. So we're getting Fairy of the Highlands, the Poe card, and Amara the Menehune. So with this first card, that's pointing to somebody taking on a different identity. So it could be a significant change in their appearance, could also be just taking on a new name, pretending to be somebody else, part of somebody else's family. So I think that if you're looking for somebody who looks like Johnny Gosch, you're not going to find him because he no longer looks like himself. I can also point to what I was talking about earlier about that fractured personality. Like my name was Johnny once upon a time, but no longer is. Like I said, I can't tell if he's still alive or not. His energy feels so scattered and broken to me. I can't get a good read on it. This Poe card is about technology, so something like web sleuths or Name Us or possibly DNA. Something to do with technology that wasn't available back in 1982. Then this Amara the Menehune card, I'm getting a few things with this. It's giving me the need for stability, letting go of old ideas, old assumptions. I keep hearing stability in my head, so I'm not sure what that means. I'm not getting a lot from that card. Yeah, I just keep hearing stability. So I'll go ahead and ask about Eugene real quick, and then I will bring this to a close. So what we're getting for Eugene is Angel of Time, Strangely Lonely, and Marie Masquerade. So I do see somebody here who has put in a lot of time and effort into solving this case, finding this boy. I'm getting overworked, burnt out, stressed, has lost their perspective. It would be like a failure to see the forest for the trees, focusing too much on the details. Second card, there is something in the possession of the person that took him. It could be Eugene himself, it could be like a body, or it could be tapes, it could be souvenirs. I don't know what it is exactly, but this is about not letting go of something. So it comes up for me when somebody has possession of the person or something that belonged to the person. So this might be something, it might be a matter of time before this is discovered. You know, somebody dies and then you got the grandkids cleaning out the person's house and all of a sudden they come across tapes, files, something. Then this masquerade card. There is gossip about the person that took Johnny. Could be like the neighbors gossiping, like, I think this person is a little strange. Maybe saw a young boy go into his house once upon a time. And this is the guy who I was talking about who was giving kids, cigarettes, alcohol, like, come hang out at my house, like mine is the cool house. You can do things here that you can't do at your parents' house. This is that guy, so it doesn't surprise me that this card is coming up for him. Because I'm getting people in the neighborhood, maybe not now, I can't tell about now, but at least back in the 1980s, we're talking about him having young boys over to his house and how that was suspicious. So this is somebody who did attract some attention. Like I said, I don't think this person has ever been brought to justice or that everything that they did was ever brought into the public eye. And like nobody suspects him of actually kidnapping either of these boys. They just think he's a little weird. Somebody, maybe you shouldn't let your kids go over to his house, that kind of thing. It would be somebody maybe like a John Wayne Gacy, like who has a lot of young boys working for him. Maybe has reason to have them over to his house, and he's able to put up a front for the neighbors. So yeah, it's a little weird, but he's maybe has legitimate reason to have these kids over there. So somebody kind of like that. So that's what I'm getting for these two cases. I'm going to call it quits. I've got people coming over. You can probably hear them moving around. So I'm going to get the heck out of here. You beautiful people, you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Love you. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you next time. Bye now.